Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Nathan Graves Show. With me, your host, Nathan Graves. And this week is another special episode. Seems to be a theme with this podcast, but I have with me the creator of You Can Play This. It's featured on Blistered Thumbs, and you've seen him in the last two That Guy with the Glasses anniversary films. It's JewWario.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Justin, thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you for inviting me.
Now, for the few people out there who don't know who you are, why don't you explain who you are for a little bit?
My name is Justin, and I actually do video game reviews online under the moniker of JewWario or JDub, JW. Um, I've been importing video games for the past 20 some odd years, and I had thought, well, it'd be a nice idea to get some to try and get into this whole reviewing thing. And what do I know? I know import gaming, and so I do stuff like that. And I've just started to branch out into Japanese movies, but I also do reviews of domestic games as well, and streams. And I'm mostly found on That Guy with the Glasses, like you said before. So.
What made you decide to start producing videos?
Actually, it just kind of came as a lark. I had a lot of free time on my hands after my job, and I like creating things, and I had gotten into a lot of internet videos that reviewed things, Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd, and the like, and I was also a fan of Game Center CX, which was on at the time, and I started to have some ideas, and I thought, well, maybe I can make one of these happen. And after, oh gosh, almost about half a year to 8 months of just playing around, getting to know the camera, figuring out scripting, what might sound good, what might not sound good, how other people do theirs, how I can do mine differently. I came up with a way to do videos, and I posted the first three on That Guy with the Glasses in their forum, and on other sites. I think I put them on Screw Attack and a couple other places as well. And That Guy with the Glasses were just really open-minded and helped me out a lot, and gave me good criticism. And as I did more, I got better and better, and eventually I just got asked to be on the site. But it took a while.
Of course. Now, your main show that you're most known for is You Can Play This, where you show import games that anybody can play.
Mm-hmm.
What gave you that idea to come up with a show like that?
Really, it was from me having played so many import games. As I watched people online, they reviewed what they knew, and there were a lot of movie reviewers, a lot of crappy movie reviewers. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something that was positive, that I could push people to, play good things. And since I had been importing for so long, I thought, well, I'm always showing my friends my new import games that I get, and trying to get them to play it, walking them through the controls and everything, and seeing their reactions. And I thought, well, maybe that would be a good niche. So I looked online. There weren't any import game reviewers at the time, and I thought, well, okay, well, I'll make this my niche. How now should I do this? Should I make it a tutorial? Should I walk through? Should I give spoilers or anything? And it actually took a couple of months actually for me to write the first couple of scripts, and to make sure that I had a decent way that I was going to do this. But it was just came from my thinking, how can I be different? How can I make my show something that people will want to watch as opposed to other shows. And sure, I could have done movie reviews or domestic game reviews first, but I think this is something that's unique to me and helped me get there. So yeah.
What's the process that you go through with making an episode of You Can Play This?
Well, I have to play the game, and I have to own the game. It's very important for me not to play off of emulators. Sometimes I can to see if I like a game or not, but but if I'm going to do a review of the game, I have to have a physical copy. So getting a physical copy is the big thing. Um, then it comes to me playing the game a whole lot. I insist on trying to, if I can't beat the game because it's either too hard or it's just really, really difficult, I put in at least 10 to 15 hours in a game before I even review it. And I capture video game footage during that time. And I'm writing notes. I'm pausing the game and writing down something on my computer or on a piece of paper or something. And then I try and think of a script. I try and think of how I want to present this game. And all of my most of my reviews are pretty much the same way. I do a small intro, then I have the credits, the opening credits. Then I talk about a little bit of history about the game, and I tell people where this idea came from. Then I go into the game, and then I usually start to go into the controls, and then I go into special things about the game, music, gameplay, how everything is, why I personally like it. And then I go into anything bad about the game because there is no perfect game. And then I go into a summary, which I haven't been doing too much lately of, but I'm trying to go back into the summary or figure out how to do it more, a little bit quicker. And if I throw in jokes in there, then I throw in jokes. If I don't, then I don't. Mine's not really a silly show a lot of the time, but sometimes I come up with jokes and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is too funny to keep on, and I'll do a joke. But that's usually the process that I go through. So now I've scripted it, and then I set up the camera and I read it off, and I go through the entire script from where I'm positioned. Some people record just the footage of them, being in a certain area, and then they come up to the computer, get a mic, and then do it. But I like the way that I do it because it sounds consistent all the way through. And then it's editing in my recorded footage, editing in my video game footage, rendering, and it's this process that actually takes longer than all the other stuff. But that's pretty much cut and dry how I do all my reviews.
Now, since this podcast is posted up on screwtack.com, I want to talk
Hmm.
to you about video games.
Okay.
What was the first video game that you remember playing?
I was actually thinking about this weekend. I think the first video game that I ever played was my big brother, from the Big Brothers Club, Stan Owaki. He one day took me to this bar in, a sports bar, sports bar. It wasn't just a bar. He wasn't a bad Big Brother. Um, he took me to a sports bar called Bananas in Boulder, Colorado. I don't think it's there anymore. And he gave me some quarters, and there was this machine called Donkey Kong. And I fell in love with that. And every time we'd go to Bananas, I'd always ask if I could have a couple quarters to play this game. And I only got a couple, so I had to watch. And I had to really watch other people play it and see how they did it, and try and do my best, with copying what they did and taking their. Oh yeah, so Donkey Kong was really the first game that I played like that.
What got you into importing games?
It was actually the back of a magazine when when I had first gotten my NES in '89. I got it really late in the in the season, so but I started collecting magazines, gaming magazines, and reading them, seeing what was the new thing. And in about 1990 or so, there I saw this uh, advertisement for a place called Funko Land, and they advertised they had Japanese Famicom games, and I was like, Famicom? That's really interesting. I wonder what that is. And so I actually called them long distance because this was before any internet or anything,
Right.
and and I asked them, what's this, Famicom? You guys are really plugging it, and you've got a slash NES. Is that is that the Japanese NES? And they said yes, it is. And we were actually having a special. I think it was like $120, and they said you can have what we have left. Okay. So I ordered it because I had a job afterward, at school afterwards. So had enough money. I paid for it. Gosh, I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I got my first import games. Some of them were RPGs, and so it was very difficult for me to play through them. But one of them was Rockman 2. Another one was, oh gosh, what was one of the other ones? Akira, Gunhead, really obscure things, but I had seen uh, Gunhead as the live action movie. So that was really exciting. And hey, I've now got this game of it. And Akira, this is cool. So I started playing those, learning more about it. And then I actually started to get into Japanese language because of it, and started to practice writing Japanese because of playing these RPGs, like the one that I got, Final Fantasy 3, which was fantastic because I had played Final Fantasy 1 here in America, and I was like, oh, I've got the Japanese number 3. This is not out here in America. This is cool. But what do you do? I have no idea. I'm gonna find out. So that's how I got into it, was actually through Funko Land, and then as I started importing more and more from Funko and other places, I started learning more about the culture and the games themselves, more anime, more manga, and yeah, so it just kind of grew from there.
What's your favorite game? Do you have a favorite American game and a favorite Japanese game, or do you just have one favorite?
No, I have a favorite. My favorite American game is actually a cross between two games. It's Riven and Mist. These two games were just really, really. They were shown to me by my friend Shuki, and gosh, I instantly fell in love with them. I love puzzles, and so being dropped into an area where you don't know what's going on and you have to discover everything was instantly catching to me. And actually, he showed it to me because we wanted to try and make a video that was very much like Game Center CX, where someone would play a game that they've never played before and then give their reaction to it. And Shuki recorded it, he edited it, um, and I was the guinea pig. This is also one of his. This is also his favorite game, and so I fell in love with that. So it's actually kind of interesting that I fell in love with my favorite American game while I'm trying to learn how to make videos and stuff. Um, for Japanese, I would say it's a series, and the series is Monster Hunter. I like that this is a world where you don't get better. Your armor gets better and your weapons get better, but you as a character don't really grow. You don't like gain plus 10 defense. You don't gain plus 15 stamina. You can if you add specific armor, but to get that armor, you've actually got to go out and fight these monsters. It's uh, it's a very nice open world, um, and it's just a great series. The idea that you go out and hunt, and then you try and get the parts from these monsters on how you attack them. Attack this one specific area, and you might get a rarer drop, maybe. Attack this area, and you might get a rarer drop from this one. So, and it's not me versus you. When we go out on a hunt, we're all hunting together. And if I fail, then we all fail. And I really like cooperative gaming like that. And Monster Hunter has won it. And I am really surprised that there haven't been more games like that, or of that series popped out here into America. Monster Hunter we didn't do too well, but it did a lot better than people anticipated it to. So I'm excited to see more people play that and more people enjoy it.
I'm guessing you're excited for the 3DS version of Monster Hunter.
Oh, I've actually been playing the Japanese one. But yeah, if and when it does come out here in America, which I'm totally anticipating number four, at least number four to come out here in America. Oh, I'll be playing. I'll buy that and play the heck out of that too. So yeah,
What's a game that you just hate?
a game that I just hate. The problem is that when I play games, if I don't like a game or if I'm not having fun, I don't play it. So there's really not a game that I quote unquote hate, because if I played it and was just not having fun with it, I just stopped. Gosh, yeah, I really can't think of a game that I hate. there's there's several that I stopped playing. Tower of Druaga, I don't get. I, I just don't get it. Gosh, there's a couple that I own. I'm not too big on Balloon Fight or any of the sports games. Once again, I wouldn't say I hate them, but I just don't care much for them. Yeah, other than that, really, I can't think of one that I. Oh my god, I hate this game.
All right, in the same vein, has there been a game that you've been really excited for, but at the end were just disappointed?
Oh yeah, there's lots of games like that. And actually too many to mention, but as a whole, any game where you really put a lot of work into and then have an ending that's no ending except for a couple of text, you know, congratulations, you are good prayer or something, something like that, where it's just like I just put in how many hours to get this terrible ending? Are you kidding me? And even in the on the NES days, it was just like, really? That's the end? That's all I get? I guess the journey was the more important thing, but man, this kind of sucks. So I would probably say any game, and all of you can know this, but yeah, any game that has just a lackluster ending or no ending at all for all the effort that you put into
I just hear a whole bunch of people yelling Mass Effect 3.
it. Completely. Completely.
As you said, you've been importing games for the past 20 years.
Yeah, 20 plus, yeah.
What can you say is your prized possession in your collection?
Ooh, that's a good question. There are games that I have found a great deal on. One of them is Juve Quest for the Famicom. I was very lucky to find this game and get it for a steal. I still sometimes feel bad about getting this for the price I did on eBay, but I got it for a steal. I got the box. I got the cards that come inside of it. I got the game, and yeah, that was quite a find. gosh, but if I was going to say something really like, ooh, take a look at this, I'd probably have to say my Keyboard Mania keyboard. Um, Keyboard Mania came out by Konami, and it's a rhythm game, but it's for the piano. And it gives you, I want to say, 2 octaves uh, of keys. So there's a lot of keys on this thing, and it's not just like Beatmania where you've got 5 or 7 keys in a scratch tab, and it's not like Guitar Hero where you've got 5 buttons. You've got you've easily got 25 buttons on this thing and notes coming down. You actually play the piano while you play Keyboard Mania, and it's a nice setup and a really fun game. But these keyboards, they may be not too hard to find, but I got it pretty complete. I got a box. I got even the packaging that the keyboard came in. I got the little foot stands for the back. It came pretty darn complete and in fairly decent condition. So I'm pretty proud of my Keyboard Mania.
What are you currently playing?
What am I currently playing? Actually, on my PS3. The last game I was playing was Journey. I love that game. Oh my gosh! But my favorite game for 2012 so far. I love that game. On my American PS3, I am playing Mario Tennis Open. On my Japanese PS3, I'm playing Monster Hunter Tri-G. And on my NES, what am I playing on my NES right now? I'm playing Crystallis, which is the American version of a Japanese game that I also have that I actually was playing first called Godslayer. Good game. Crystallis is a great game. Um, on my PS2, my Famicom / Super Famicom, I'm playing Yu Yu Hakusho Final. And on
Is
my
that the fighting game?
yes, it is.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is actually going to be a review hopefully this week. So you're getting a little sneak peek what this week's game is going to be. And then later on next month, I've got my Sega Saturn game that I'm playing currently called Princess Crown, which is lent to me by a gentleman in Denver, actually. So he had it, sent it to me, and I'm playing it, and I'm going to be reviewing it later on next month. So yeah, I play a lot of games.
Really didn't seem like it. Now, are there any games in particular that you were looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Epic Mickey 2. Yeah, the thing is with the Epic Mickey, I really fell in love with Epic Mickey. I know a lot of people didn't, but I really did. And it wasn't just because it was Mickey. It was because it went so deep into the history of Mickey and incorporated that into a story. Yeah, the graphics weren't the best. And yeah, it didn't have two-player capability, but it was a fun game and it had a lot of unlockables. Some of them being old cartoons that Disney hadn't put out for, over 50, 60 years. So this was really a really good experience. And when I saw it, Epic Mickey 2 at E3, I instantly fell in love and was just so excited for it. So I'm really looking forward to that game. And I'm also looking forward to the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure HD release that's going to come out on the 360 and the PS3 here in, I think, in a couple of weeks here. Because I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love that fighting game. And it'll be nice to see a new generation of people, of players, getting into this game and seeing what they think of it.
Actually, you went to E3 this year, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
It was actually kind of a disappointment. I've gone the previous first two the previous 2 years, and this year it just seemed that it just seemed a little lackluster. You were expecting lots of exciting news, but pretty much everything was, downplayed. I think when they start announcing next year for the new consoles, I think that's going to be the big excitement. So, yeah, it was lackluster, but I still had a good time, still got to play a lot of good games that are coming out. Still got to play, see a lot of previews for games that are coming out next year. And yeah, talked to some really neat people and got to hang out with some of my buddies too. Got to hang out with Noah Antweiler and Pat the NES Punk and Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf, and yeah, just a lot of people, a lot of fun.
What was your favorite thing that you saw on the show floor?
Oh, easily Epic Mickey. I know that sounds really horrible, but yeah, Epic Mickey was really that got me excited, and it was just so much fun to play that. My friend Mark, the Psychotaku, was went around. We went around as a group, and when we started playing that, he and I just had a blast, just helping each other out through the game, and then we even waited in line to get a pair of the Oswald ears that they were giving away on the as kind of swag for the floor. So instead of Mickey Mouse ears, you got Oswald the Lucky Rabbit ears, and that was a lot of fun. But that was really the most exciting thing. I know this sounds really bad, but the second biggest thing that just really entertained me was the Wreck-It Ralph game that for the iPad. When we were After we got our ears while we were waiting for them to be embroidered, we went to the Wreck-It Ralph booth, and we're stoked, because it's a video game movie. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I was like, and I even said, "Wow, wouldn't it be great if they made like a retro-ish game and just made it retro? Just the whole thing, like it actually came out." We sat down, and while we were relaxing, I looked down on the table, and sure enough, there's an iPad with Wreck-It Ralph on it. And it was exactly like I suggested. It was completely retro, and it felt good. I mean, just playing the game, the sounds, the beeps, the bloops, the controls, and even the sprites. It felt like you could have bought this cart as an NES cart. After Super Mario 2 came out, or Super Mario 3 came out. I mean, it was really, really cleverly done. Everything else was kind of like, oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, that'll be exciting when it comes out. But I think on the floor, those were the two things that we were most excited about.
Now, the big thing at E3 was obviously the Wii U, since Nintendo got a little bit more in depth in it.
Hmm.
What do you think the Wii U's future is going to look like? Do you think it's going to be a smash success, or do you think it's just going to be out in the back burner?
I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Let me just get that right out of the way. To me, Nintendo works very hard making things that are enjoyable for everyone. Xbox is mostly for one, demographic. PS3 is for a different demographic, and really the Wii has been for everybody. Now, having said that, I think the Wii U is going to be individualized because even though there's going to be so many party games for it out there, I mean, having a fifth controller that's this tablet with knobs and buttons and controls on it. And even though that tablet is really fun to play with, families are still going to flock to the old Wii because it's simple. It's what they have already. Buying a Wii U is going to be very tough to sell onto the market and to other people. But I do like the technology that's in it. I think that the Wii U is going to be made mostly for AR. I think once they realize this, you're going to be seeing a whole lot of AR games coming out there. I wouldn't even be surprised if there was another Pokemon game coming out and they put it out on the Wii U and you could battle Pokemon on your Wii U. I do think there'll be a lot more games that work with 5 people. So it'll be a success, but I'm actually seeing it'll be a moderate success, and it'll take time. The Wii will have comparable graphics to a PS3 and Xbox 360 right now. I have no doubts about that. But as always, with all systems, the first year there's going to be 2 things for the Wii U: jack and squat. And it's people are going to see these slow sales on the Wii U, and since they're not educated in how games sell, that games do sell, consoles sell slowly because of poor games in the first year, they're going to say that the Wii U is going to fail. But I think in the second year, much like the 3DS is doing currently, you'll see better games, and companies will start to go, "Oh, I get it now." And then they'll start to work with the camera. They'll start to work with the gyro and the accelerometer. They'll start to work with 360-degree playing fields, because that is what I believe that the Wii U is going to be. It's going to be using that, that whole accelerometer and the gyros inside of it to make the world that you play in your living room. You know, I've said this to my friend Angry Joe several times. I think if they do a shooting game where let's say you and I are playing here, we're playing Call of Duty. Let's just pull out of my ass Call of Duty, and I'm playing on my Wii U and tablet, and you're playing on the screen. Well, now we get into a Jeep, and the Jeep has a rail gun in the back. Well, you're driving the Jeep, and now you're looking at the TV, and you're driving the Jeep right there. Well, I've got my Wii U pad, so I physically turn around, so you and I are back to back, and I'm shooting down the helicopters that are following us, and then I'm shooting out these landmines that are ahead of us that you can't get to, that you may need to avoid, but you're not going to be able to avoid them. So I need to shoot them and blow them up before we cross them. This is the ability of the Wii U, is to be able to spin around physically in place and see this new world through the screen. And it's an amazing thought that we've come to a technology that can do this. And I'm even seeing something like Spirit Camera. Spirit Camera for the 3DS came out, and you can look in around your house on the top screen. And if there's a ghost, they'll appear in the screen. So, hey, what's behind your coffee table? Oh my God, it's a ghost. What's on your ceiling? Oh, right next to the light is a ghost. I see that something like that coming out on the Wii U. And in fact, the people who've created the Fatal Frame series have said that they are working on a Wii U ghost thing that's very similar to the Wii U game, or to the 3DS game. And that's very exciting. So I think at first, nothing. It'll do fairly poorly. But once people get into it and people realize what this technology is, what the Wii U is supposed to do, then you'll start to see games. But it won't be a smash hit like the Wii was. Long answer.
Now, moving on to our next subject, it's something close to my heart since I hosted another podcast about it, but that's another story altogether. Tokusatsu.
Tokusatsu.
When did you get into Tokusatsu?
Last year.
No joke.
No joke. No joke. About February or March of last year, my friend Sean Faust talked to me about Tokusatsu, and I was like, oh. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even want to get into it. I was like, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers. I don't know. And then I watched it, and my mistake was thinking that it was a show that was very much like what we got here in America. Tokusatsu is nothing like what we have here in America. People die. Heroes almost die. You know, there's destruction. There's not this, oh, we're feeling better now, and hey, let's go down to get a Slurpee. Yeah. Woohoo, you know. It's sometimes bittersweet victories in Tokusatsu, and that really drew me in. So I think I got into Kamen Rider a little bit more than Super Sentai because also Kamen Rider was one of those shows that actually premiered a couple of months before I was born. It premiered in February of 1971, and I was born in April of 1971. And so uh, it kind of, I think, held a little bit more allure to me that it was as old as I am and it's still going. And I wanted to see what all this was like. And so I kind of navigated to Kamen Rider. But yeah, literally last year, very early.
What was your first Rider series?
First Rider series W.
Same.
Yeah, and then I went as W was playing, and just before it finished. No, it had finished, and then I went into O's. And as O's was going along, I started watching other uh, writers, and I think my favorite older writer is probably Ichigo, the very first writer. But yeah, W was my first newer series.
How many Kamen Rider series have you seen? I know you've seen Double and O's, and I'm assuming you're watching Forza.
Yep, I've been watching Forza. I have watched at least the first 2 to 3 episodes of all the series. I wanted to see when I was making my own writer idea. I wanted to see what how they all got their abilities and how their starts came along. And so I actually watched the origin episode plus one of almost all the episodes. I know I've seen the first 2 episodes of all of them, and I've seen a third and sometimes more of a lot more. As far as full series go, I've only seen the full series for Amazon, W, O's, what they've gotten to up to now for Forza, and I think that's it writer-wise.
Is there some Super Sentai that you do like, even though you say you're not that into it as much as you are a Kamen Rider?
Oh yeah, Gokaiger. I love Gokaiger. Oh my goodness, Gokaiger can't do any wrong. Yeah, actually, but really, honestly, Gokaiger is the only one that I really saw and got into. Otherwise, we watched Go Bustas and just was I was kind of like, and there it goes. And but I guess I could still keep on watching it, but oh, and Akiba Ranger, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Akiba Ranger.
It's really good.
It really is good, and it's really a shame that it ended.
I still haven't watched the last episode just so that it doesn't end for me. I like it too much. I don't want it to end.
I completely understand. It's like those people who read the Harry Potters, but then they skip the last couple of chapters, and they're like, it doesn't end for me. I'm not gonna watch. No, I completely. I feel you, man.
Like when I was first hearing about Akiba Ranger, I thought it was honestly I thought it was gonna be stupid. I wasn't looking forward to it at all. But since I had my other podcast, my co-host told me we gotta watch it, and I buckled down, watched it, loved it.
Cool. Yeah, it's good stuff.
You said that you watched a couple episodes of at least every writer. Was there some that stuck out to you from what you can remember?
Yeah. I think that's why Ichigo actually stuck out for me. But also, I really liked Kamen Rider Black. I really liked how Black started and had a really decent story between the two writers. And they're trying very hard not to say anything to spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it. Kamen Rider Black and gosh, of the older ones, Blade didn't impress me too much. Uh, yeah, I'd probably say Ichigo and Black were the ones that really impressed me with their openings and with the storylines and everything.
It's funny that you said Blade didn't impress you that much, because I see some similarities between Blade and Family Kamen Rider.
Really?
Yeah, at least with the eyes and with the antenna horn, at
No,
least.
yeah, yeah, definitely with the way that they look, with the way they look. But the funny thing is, I didn't design the helmet. the The helmet was actually designed by someone who I showed him some pictures of helmets and of Famicom or of Kamen Rider helmets, and he just kind of, oh, okay, I see the idea here, and then he put together a helmet for me. So who knows? He may have seen Blade's helmet and went, well, that's a pretty interesting idea.
Forza is coming to an end soon, sadly.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing series. Like, the last couple episodes almost made me cry. No joke.
It's been a good series. I didn't think it was going to be one, but it's been a good series.
This may sound kind of shallow, but the moment I knew that Forza was going to be a good series was when he used the chainsaw switch in episode 1.
It actually took me a while. For a long time, I was like, "Oh, come on, get into this, something, anything." And then, as soon as we had Cancer come in, Cancer the Crab, and I was like, "Oh, all right, here we go. We're getting into this." And and even Meteor at first I wasn't sure about, and it just started and was going, and that one episode where Meteor just turned around and boom, you're like, oh, he didn't just do that, and
Oh my god.
you all know what I'm saying, but those of you, I'm trying to not to say anything, but oh my gosh, I think that's when I went, okay, they got it. This is the episode where they got it. It's going to be good from now on, and it has been for me.
Do you have a favorite form in Forza? Like, between the base states, fire, elect, and all that?
No, I really don't. I just like the hero. He's goofy enough, and yet he's got this kind of intelligence around him. Like the episode where his friend gets back into the band and he goes to help him out. And when his friend sees to the extent that he went, because you knew he was going to help his friend, you're like, okay, he's going to come back, his friend's going to do this, but you didn't know what extent it was going to go to. And then when his friend looked at his fingers and he went, oh my God, you've been doing this for me? Yeah, that's what I like about this writer, that he's not only really powerful as in his writer form, but he holds a lot in his heart and shows his friends how to what lengths he's willing to go to for them. And that's really something that you didn't get in O's. O's, you could tell he was still powerful in his own way, but this one, this is a little different. Each writer is a little different, and I think this is his strength.
It's especially true with what happened with Meteor, and he could just forgive him.
Yes, completely. Like, but I did this to you. Yeah, yeah, you did, and you needed to. What? Yeah.
There's been a lot of funny images online, and I think one of them was like it involved My Little Pony, but uh, I don't remember the context, but it said like I don't need friends or something like that, and then there's a picture of Gentaro, and it says "fuck that, I'm gonna friendship the shit out of you."
That's awesome. Yes, totally. It's totally him.
Since Forza is coming to a close, more and more news is coming up about our newest Kamen Rider Wizard.
Hmm.
And are you excited about it?
I don't know if I would say excited. I wasn't excited about Forza, and to tell you the truth, I wasn't excited about O's. Um, I think I need to just see what they've got planned for us and see how it's going to unfold. Very much like me watching the first couple of episodes of every single writer to see what they're about. I think we're going to have to just watch and see what this new writer's about before I make any judgments, because I don't want to make a judgment like I did with the entire writer series and then be proven wrong because I was just ignorant and I just focused on one thing that might have been wrong. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to give it. I'd try and give every episode or every series at least 3 to 4 episodes before it gets going, and before I determine, yeah, I'm going to like this.
I'm not a big fan of the belt personally. It's just a hand.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how he's going to change the rings and how he's going to hold the rings and stuff. The putting them into a belt is one thing. Having them on your body is another. And so I'm interested in seeing how he's going to do that.
Alright, and last question before we end this interview.
Hmm.
What are your future plans, and do you have any future projects that you want to do or anything that you want to review right now?
Well, I've got games and movies all lined up for the entire rest of 2012. But there is a project that I'm going to be pursuing here in the near future. I would probably say near the end of 2012, beginning of 2013. And that's actually going to be a Famicom and Writer series. Um, I've written the synopsis for 11 episodes, and me and a couple other writers are actually writing episodes for this series, and we're hoping to put it out. Like I said, hopefully by the middle to the end of 2013. I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter project or Indiegogo or whatever group I choose to try and fund it, and also trying to find funding for things. But yeah, I want to make it a non-review show. It'll be just a storyline. It'll have 11 episodes, and it'll go from, you know, you don't have to have watched Famicom and Rider or know too much about the origin. We'll go into that in the episodes, but yeah, it'll. I'm looking forward to doing something like that, and maybe even possibly after that, um, working on a non-review children's show for the internet, something along the lines of a Mr. Rogers or something, but we'll for a modern day audience. But we'll see how that goes and what path that takes. But right now, the immediate one is the Famicom and Writer series that I want to do.
Alright, Justin, I would like to thank you for your time once again.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you asking me to be on the program, and it'll be a lot. I hope everybody had a good time. I hope you had a good time.
And for all of you watching at home right now, I'm talking to you. Follow JewWario on Twitter, at JewWario, I believe.
Yep.
Check out youcanplaythis.com for all of his reviews and all of his different shows, which include The Pipeline, Famicom and Writer, and even Sekutaku stuff.
Yep. Psychotaku and Psychonecro. Yeah.
And any other places that you'd like to plug?
Oh gosh, that guy with the glasses, RetroWare TV, PatTheNESPunk.com, BlisteredThumbs.net. So many, and ScrewAttack.com for all your.
Yes. Awesome. subscribe to me on YouTube, subscribe to me on ScrewTech, follow me on Twitter at NathanGraves989 so that you can find out who the next guest is going to be on the Nathan Graves Show. And in the description below on YouTube will be my RSS feed so that you can download the episode and take it with you wherever you want. Also in the description below on YouTube will be a link to the SGC Kickstarter. ScrewTech.com is trying to bring back the biggest gaming party of the summer, and we need your help to bring back SGC. So go click that link and please pledge to bring back SGC. And that'll do it for this week. Thank you all for joining me once again. I apologize for skipping last week, but stuff happens. And another big shout out to JewWario just for being an awesome guy.
Thank you.
And until next week, this is NathanGraves989 signing off.